Hey there, guys, and welcome to another episode of VIVE Podcast with myself, owner and CEO of VIVE Group, Tye And Wykie, and the man, the myth, the legend, Wykie Etzebeth. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. Good to see you.
We got it. All right. Today, guys, we're going to keep this one short, sharp, to the point. Today, we're talking about the number one thing that stops box owners from being successful.
Successful is, it's a great word.
Dude, I've been hanging around you too long. My English is slipping. From being successful, this isn't what's going to kill them necessarily, not in the short term, but what's going to keep them stuck in mediocrity. Right?
Yeah, and I think often this thing that we're about to discuss is it's a blind spot as well. It's not something that's obvious. It's something that, people don't recognize until you maybe point it out to them as well.
Absolutely. It's built in. A lot of what we're talking about, it's all part of the human condition. It's all a part of our brain trying to protect us from the truth, from nasty realities. And that thing is mindset. Ooh, and I'm sure a bunch of people have just clicked off because they've gone, I thought you were going to tell me what button to press to get more members. This isn't practical. This isn't what I signed up for. I want my $0 back. But guys, let me make this very clear. We could give you every system, every strategy, every button to press. And if you're not looking at it through the right lenses, it's not going to work.
No.
Right? People with the right mindset and an okay strategy will outperform those with all the tools and all the buttons and all the fancy shit, but with a shitty mindset every day of the week.
Agree 100%.
So let's jump into it. We're going to keep this nice and simple. These are the three biggest mistakes that we see as coaches with boxers every single day, right? In the last 2 weeks, I've had close to 20 coaching calls with boxers, and every single time there's practical things going wrong, right? There's the leadership of the coaches, or this coach isn't doing that, or we don't have enough members, or we don't have enough money, or there's always the practical things. But every single one of those we can trace back to a real mindset problem. Every single one of them, without fail, right? So the first one, these are our top three. The first one is limiting their own potential, right? Giving themselves a glass ceiling, right? I get so annoyed and fired up when I hear boxers say, "Man, we're going to be one of the best boxers in town." That's it. That's out of 15,000 boxers around the world. They want to be one of number 3 in town, or maybe they say we're going to be the best box in town. Why not be the best box in the world? Why not be the box that does $1 million revenue a year if that's what you want? Why not be the box that packs up your shit, you and your family travel the world, and while the box runs itself? Why not be that box that does whatever the fuck a box can do? People, and the reason is because there's the possibility if I set my goals that high, there's a chance I won't get them. So it's a lot easier if I set these shitty, mediocre goals, and then I've got a lot better chance of hitting them and living in mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just safer, right? It's just less chance of failure. And I think the other reason is comparison to other shitty boxes. Right. You compare yourself to other boxes in town. If they're not great, if the standard isn't very high, then, your goal, your dream is not that great, So, I really like that, go worldwide, go, make it lifestyle focused, like I said, go traveling or whatever it is. Don't just compare yourself to the local boxers because they might be doing a shitty job, and your comparison to them is limiting your potential for sure. So
absolutely. Yeah. And, I see this expand sometimes. I actually see box owners externalize this sometimes when, I hear about existing box owners giving new box owners advice like, don't get into this for the money because you'll never make a real living off this. You do it for passion. No, you fucking do it for passion, right? You suck. You're the one who's limited your own potential. Don't then go and limit other people's potentials and pass on your own shitty expectations to other people. So the first bit of advice that I would give you guys on mindset is raise your expectations of yourself. Expect more, right? Look at what is possible, not what is normal, because normal sucks. Most boxers are just slowly, marching their way towards the cliff. Look at what is possible, and then add 10% to that and say, that's what I'm going to be, right? Why shouldn't you listening be the box that we travel the world and say, holy shit, have you guys seen what CrossFit ABC is doing? It's out of fucking control, right? But what boxers are doing today is past what I thought was possible a couple of years ago, right? And I'm obsessive about setting these expectations super high. So, be something special, put it out to the world. Actually, here's what I want you to do. If you're listening to this, if you're listening and going, yeah, sure, yeah, we should be the best box in the world. Cool. I want you to jump onto Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you waste your time, and I want you to write that out and put it out to the world, right? We're going to be the best box in the world. Why not, right? Because everyone wants to say that kind of internally or when we're talking to them, like, yeah, we want to be the best in the world. Cool. Put that shit out there. Tell the world that's what you're going to be, right? Hold yourself accountable. And then tag us in it. I want to see who does it. That'll be interesting.
Go on. I don't think we'll get a single one, but go on.
Come on, I dare you.
But yeah, I think we bring up CrossFit, Unscared CrossFit all the time in here. But again, I just was thinking about the facility, the coaches. They've got a great facility, but it's not the best facility in the world.
No.
Got amazing coaches, but I'm sure there's better coaches out there. But I truly believe the thing that sets them apart is the way they think. Their mindset, the way they think about the business, the confidence they bring into it, the dreams, the way they dream big, So yeah, man, it's such an important part that people just don't address, mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. And to continue with Unscared, they are one of possibly the most successful box in the world. And, I was just hanging out in Amsterdam with Willem like 2 weeks ago, and they're not content. They're not done, right? They're always moving forward. They don't give a shit. I don't know that I've ever said that to Willem, that I think that they're one of, if not the best in the world, but that's because it wouldn't matter to him. He doesn't care, right? He whatever they are, he wants to be better. Joachim, same thing, wants to be better. And you're right. They're not they're beautiful, but not the sexiest box in the world. They don't have the most handsome owner. No, they do have the most handsome owner.
They do have the most handsome owner.
Damn,
hands down. Now, I think you say, one of the most successful boxes in the world, and I can just imagine people thinking, he's talking financially. And I don't think that's the case necessarily. I think when you're saying most successful, it's they're getting the closest to their dream box, what they imagine, their vision for the perfect box. And if you follow Willem or follow Unscared CrossFit, he did a post recently that speaks about that they leave money on the table to make sure that they are pursuing the box that they really want and dreamt about. And that's success. It's, achieving the box that you dream about. It's not all financial.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Love it. So that's number one, guys, limiting potential. All right, number two, and this one frustrates me, adjusting to failure. So people will try something, they'll, hey, here's a new way to run an on-ramp, or here's a new way to raise prices, or here's a whatever. They try it once, it doesn't work. They assume, well, it couldn't possibly be me. Despite only being a box owner for 3 years and not yet having a successful business, it couldn't possibly be me. It must be that thing. It must be that strategy, right? And again, let's be clear about what all these are. I'm not having a go at anyone with this. This is our brain doing what our brain does and trying to protect us, right? It's trying to protect our ego more than anything, right? You've got two choices. You can either be humble and acknowledge, okay, I'm not perfect, I'm not great, I haven't yet proven to the universe that I'm a successful business owner, right? So I'm still a beginner business owner. I'm still a white belt business owner, and that is okay. There's lots of box owners out there who've been doing this for 10 years plus and are still white belts, right? That's okay, right? But you have to acknowledge that and be humble and work with that, right? So we could acknowledge that, or we could say, well, it didn't work because of the economy. It didn't work because CrossFit's got a bad name. It didn't work because there was a green dog sitting in the corner looking at me sideways with a light shower or whatever else. Man, I had a box owner in the UK blame Trump for all of his problems. That's why he wasn't successful, right? Not the UK, sorry, the US, obviously. But again, we can externalize, we can adjust to failure. We can say, okay, this didn't work, so that doesn't work, so I'll just go over this way. We can compromise, but all you do is you get into the habit. You become that person. You become someone who every time they're faced with, every time they fall down, they go, well, I just won't try that again, and they compromise, and you end up building a business based on compromises.
Yeah, absolutely. A practical example of this I experienced this week is, a gym owner walking into his gym and going, man, there's too much dead space here that's not being used. I need to downscale to a smaller facility.
Right.
Instead of going, I'm frustrated because there's so much space here. How can I fill this up?
Right.
This facility can house a class of 16 people at a time, but I'm only getting 4 or 5 people to my class. So adjusting to failure is I'll get a smaller building. That's kind of a practical example of what we're talking about here.
Right, yeah. For sure. The most common one I see is like intro classes, on-ramps, that kind of stuff. People go, we know we should be running them frequently because when someone's interested in fitness, they want it now, they want it as soon as possible. If I'm telling people that they have to wait till the first Thursday of every month, they're gone, right? And so people try out the frequency. Maybe they do it 2 times a week or 3 times a week even, which is our recommendation. And then they can't fill those classes. And so they come to us and say, well, I couldn't fill those 3 intro classes, so we're going to knock it back down to 1. Or fill the damn classes, right? Yeah. And again, if the problem with this, guys, is like in that single example, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to end the business. With anything mindset-based, it becomes a habit, it becomes who you are. And eventually, you are someone who adjusts to failure. That's what you do, right, in your professional, in your personal life. And all of a sudden, you build this business just compromise on top of compromise on top of compromise. It's the same. Imagine somebody coming into your gym, right? New member, and they try a snatch for the first time, and they do the first rep, and it looks like shit, like all of us do. And they go, well, the snatch doesn't work. I'm never doing that again because it doesn't work, right? It'll be out of control. No, it's something that takes a lot of practice, a lot of time. You have to evolve and become that person, right? You're not just going to get it from day one. And if you fail one time and then walk away and say, well, that's dumb, then you're never going to, in this case, get the snatch. It's the same thing in business, right? You can't just point at it and go, well, that's stupid. And we see it all the time. We do this for a living. This is all we do. And we'll give a bit of advice that's proven, advice that's worked for forever, for hundreds of boxers all around the world. And someone will try it once, it won't work, and they'll go, no, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah,
drives us crazy.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And last one, guys, the one that pisses me off more than anything, because I think these other two, they're professional traits, right? Adjusting to failure, limiting potential. That's a representative of who you are as a business owner. This last one is more representative of who you are as a person. This is a personality trait. And if this is who you are, oh man, you're in for a shitty life. You're going to have a bad time, right? And that's externalizing responsibility, right? Everything is everyone else's fault, right? Like I said before, the box isn't working because of the economy, because of the weather, because of the time of the year, because of this member that did that and that coach that said this, and nothing is my fault. It's everybody else's fault. Woe is me. This is one of the hardest ones for us as coaches to overcome, right? Getting people to take responsibility, to understand a really simple fact. Everything that happens within the four walls of your box is your responsibility, right? If it's good, we credit it to our coaches. If it's bad, we cop it on the chin. If you can't take that kind of criticism, that kind of reality check, that kind of responsibility, right? That burden, just don't be a business owner. Definitely don't be a business owner, right? Go and work somewhere where you can fob it off to Dave in the mailroom. It was his fault, right? But as a business owner, you can't do this. You can't be this kind of person that it's definitely not me.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think there are cases where, what is happening is not your fault, but I think a great leader is someone who learns to eat crap.
Right.
Like it's something I'm working on at the moment, even with my family life, with my wife. Sometimes things aren't fair and you're like, oh, that's not right. She should be doing things that way, or this, But a great trait of a great strong leader is to just get used to eating crap and being okay with it. Being the ox, they're just trying to shoulders things and just walks with it and just takes responsibility for it. It's a mark of a great leader and a great person. So, when things don't seem fair, still decide that I'll take responsibility for it. I'll eat the crap. Yeah,
absolutely. And the problem is people get caught up with fair. Maybe it's fair, maybe it's not, but it is. It just fucking is. We can argue. Okay, we've sat here and stressed out and argued and sworn that it isn't fair. Cool. What's different now? Yeah. What's changed? Exactly. Look, if you need to vent and get it off your chest, cool, go for it. But understand that you're not helping anyone. You're not changing the situation.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that thing that happened, that was your fault. Simple as that, right? And to break it down so that you kind of understand a little bit better, we use a saying, right? Everything that happens within the four walls of your gym happens because you cause it or allow it, right? Because a lot of people go, I didn't cause that to happen. No, but you allowed it, right? Maybe directly or indirectly. Either you allowed by not putting in the framework, the rules, the coach's roles, responsibilities, definitions, outcomes, whatever it is, you didn't put in the framework to stop it, or it might have, downstream effect. You allowed this to happen, which allowed this to happen, which allowed this to happen, which allowed this to happen, and that's what you're whinging about, right? So everything within the biggest one, guys, is your team, right? Oh, they didn't do what I wanted to. Cool, awesome. Where's the bit of paper that told them they had to do it? Show me on your calendar the day you spent training them how to do it. Well, it's common sense. No, it's not. No, it's absolutely not, right? You're an elite athlete. What is common sense to you is not common sense to someone else, right? You served in the police, the military, the AMBO, some government structure. What is common sense to you is not common sense to everybody else.
Yeah, and these people aren't business owners, they're coaches, they're staff members. You can't expect them to think the way of a business owner because they're not business owners. So, I deal with boxers every day, just disappointed in their staff. They're not meeting the standards, and just because they expect them to do things that they would do naturally as business owners and entrepreneurs, it's just not fair. Yeah,
100%. So, guys, responsibility, that's our burden to bear, right? If you play this game right, you'll get to travel the world, you'll get to hang out with family, you'll get to buy a nice house, you'll get to do all the cool shit that business owners get to do, right? That's the upside. The downside is it's all on you. If you can't handle that, if that makes you uncomfortable, if you're sitting there gritting your teeth going, no, Tye, this is bullshit, then just don't be a box owner. That's fine. Just don't run a business. Most people probably shouldn't run a box. We've seen it a million times. Most people just be a coach. Just be a coach somewhere. Get a job, go home, finish your classes, go home and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to your girlfriend, play Xbox, have dinner with people. Don't look at your phone for hours on end. Right? The truth is that out of all the burdens that we take on as leaders and as box owners, we can get rid of a lot of them. We can eliminate them, we can automate them, we can outsource them and delegate them. The one that we will never, ever, ever be able to get rid of is the burden of responsibility.
Yeah. And we use the phrase, it's lonely at the top. We often use that phrase in the office, and it's true. Like, as a business owner, often you feel like no one gets it. Like, it's all comes down to me in the end, and it is lonely at the top. It's part of the game. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you play the game properly, you'll be able to cry about how lonely it is when you're sipping on a beach with drinking Mai Tais with your family. Right?
Exactly.
Awesome, guys. So there you go. That's it. That's mindset. I know this was a brief one. And look, if you've listened this far, good work. You've ticked off one little bit of the mindset puzzle, because I know a lot of people aren't going to listen to this episode because it's not sexy. Because, well, more than anything, it's confronting, right? I don't think anyone honestly is going to listen to this episode and go, yeah, I haven't limited my potential. I never adjust to failure, and I never externalize. We all do it every single day. And you can't stop yourself from doing it, because there's kind of, there's core psychological kind of human condition reasons for every one of these.
Yeah.
Right? So you will continue to do it. The trick is to be able to catch yourself doing it, right? To be able to identify the language and behaviors that are indicative of these three problems. And then halfway through that behavior, go, shit, no, stop. Identify it and get in front of it. So if you've gotten this far in the podcast, congratulations. You're a step ahead of most other people who either didn't listen because they knew it was going to be confronting, or it wasn't magical and marketing based enough. So well done. Well done. I love you. I appreciate you. Good on you.
Boom. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
All right. Have a great week, guys. And let us know your thoughts on mindset. Let us know what else do you think troubles you? What else do you think kind of gets in the way and causes mental friction between you and success? Let us know if there's anything else you want us to discuss in this podcast, and have an amazing week. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, bro.